Morning everyone. It's actually a really nice morning. Clouds are quite funky. But yeah, there's a lot I've been looking at and thinking about talking. Come on, Nala! Nala banana! Here she comes. Yeah. There's a lot of people like thinking about breeding right now, and I always urge everyone to check the market, check like what's for sale, the age of the puppies for sale. You know, there are plenty of people that are struggling to sell puppies right now. So, you know, if you haven't got homes lined up, or at least some homes lined up, is it worth breeding? Can you honestly afford to have an extra, say, 4 or 5 dogs to look after? Do you have the time and the financial means to look after extra dogs because you can't sell the puppies? Like, and that's just the first consideration. I saw another sad case where a female died due to complications with a C-section, and sadly only one puppy survived. Now that's the second one I've heard of in like probably about 6 months. The other one, the female died, but the 5 puppies survived. It's just tragic. It's awful. Absolutely couldn't imagine it. And then I've looked as well, and there's a lot of unregistered litters. Now, it's a real mixed thing. Like, a lot of people say, I don't care if the dog's registered because I don't want to show or I don't want to breed. So they get an unregistered dog. Then they decide they actually wouldn't mind breeding. So then they breed an unregistered litter. And then that cycle just continues. And I'm not saying a registered dog is the be-all and end-all. But if you are going to view an unregistered litter, ask why they're unregistered. If the parents have endorsements on them or locks on their profile, why? You know, with our dogs, every one of our puppies is endorsed. Even the ones we keep ourselves is endorsed. So we then send the letter and get the endorsements removed for our own dogs. And we have terms set out in our puppy contracts. I don't know what the hell Pod's doing. For how to get the endorsement removed. So there are terms and conditions where they'll never get removed. So if the animal's got blue eyes, if they're unilateral or deaf, they'll never get removed. We've got other little clauses as well, that they should be of sound temperament and good health, you know, like good skin and stuff, before they'll get removed. We do say to an approved stud, because the more you breed and the more you show, the more you realise there's problems in certain lines or with certain dogs. So we don't want people passing on or producing more nervous dogs, more dogs with different problems. So we do say approved, but it's not because we want to like force people to use a certain stud dog. It's just we don't want them to use certain stud dogs. That makes sense. And then we do require hip and elbow scoring as well, just to make sure that the dogs are as healthy as can be. Because as of right now, there is no genetic test for hip and elbow dysplasia. All they've managed to discover so far is there are different markers in dogs' DNA depending on the breed for these conditions. So it's not a cut and dry thing of getting the diagnosis via DNA, whether they carry it. So the best you can do is hip and elbow score, so at least you know the animal you're breeding from is healthy. But that still doesn't guarantee that the genes they carry are healthy. The genes they carry don't carry hip dysplasia. Sorry, I'm walking into the sun and seeing what this lot are playing with. And it's a tricky situation. By getting a pedigree dog, you can trace the lines far more accurately. You can trace potential issues far more accurately. You can trace relatives far more accurately. And, you know, you can discover a lot from a dog's pedigree. And you don't always have that with an unregistered litter. And if the breeder of the dog won't remove the endorsement, I try and find out why. I'd go to the breeder of that dog and ask them why they haven't removed the endorsement off of that dog. Because then they may say, well, we've discovered that this line has an eye condition, so we don't want this particular line, any from this particular litter, bred from. So, you know, you can discover a lot, and some breeders won't be honest with you. Some breeders will just ignore you. But it is always worth asking, like, be suspicious is the best way of saying it. So, yeah, if you're suspicious, then you can quiz and question what's going on and make your own mind up then what to do and where to go with it. You know, if you go and visit a litter and they got their pack of dogs living separately from one another, separately from the puppies is different, because some dogs aren't good around puppies, some dogs are too rough around puppies. But if their adult dogs all have to live separately, ask why. Now, I know in some dogs, same-sex aggression is far more of an issue. But if they're living in a separate household with certain dogs can't be around certain dogs, I'd be quite concerned over that too. Just literally playing with a plastic bottle. But yeah, the fact that like they can play and wrestle for a plastic bottle and it not turn into anything resource guarding wise shows these have got good temperaments. I mean, the way I show them to you, you can 100% see and tell what temperaments the dogs have got anyway. But, you know, resource guarding isn't an issue in my house and with my dogs, because it just isn't. It's It's never given any airtime ever in their whole life. So it never becomes anything that gets airtime, you know. Anyway, I just thought, hope this gives you a little bit to think about and a little bit to consider. And yeah, shall see you all soon. Bye.